and gentlemen, brothers and sisters,
This is a journey into sound.
The fattest, funkiest tunes in town.
All right, good morning, y'all. You know, the whole making double rooms thing, I don't know what to say. I was in there. I liked our room title. It's cool, you guys. I'm not going to take it personally or anything like that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You don't know.
So as usual, good morning to everybody. This is our normal pre-market show. Hosted by Stockhouse U, and we like to start our days off with some quotes, and then we'll kind of get into exactly what we're going to talk about for the day. So my name's Elaine, aka Stock Mom, and my quote of the day comes from a gentleman named Charlie Munger. And the quote is, "The secret to a long and happy life is easy because it's so simple. You don't have a lot of envy. You don't have a lot of resentment. You don't overspend your income. You stay cheerful in spite of your troubles. You deal with reliable people, and you do what you're supposed to do. And all these simple rules work so well to make your life better." So many times we kind of overcomplicate the situation, and it's like if you have a plan, if you're working towards something, if you surround yourself with people that have similar goals and see things the way that you do, if you're able to communicate that effectively between each other, the direction is up. The outcome tends to be positive. I really appreciate everybody who comes on stage every day and everybody in the audience, and I think that we are part of a team that's working towards the same thing, which is sustainable profitability, consistent gains, and just overall becoming better traders. So I'm happy to see everybody, and let's go down the list. Who else has a quote for us?
I do, but Vanessa, Fly, I want to go first.
Sorry, I'm so slow with the mic. Okay. If you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. But if you schedule it, it's real. Um, just put some action towards your goals. Set out the time to make yourself better. I know a lot of us have busy schedules, like on our ways to work, on our way to work, or whatever. So make time for trading, make time for studying, and make time for the things that you want, so that you can actually achieve it. And that's it.
Good morning. My name is Twan. My quote of the day is, "Manifest everything in life and add prayer, and watch how your life changes." I don't know if anybody knows too much about me, but everything I ever did, everything I ever accomplished, I saw it first. It might sound weird, but I like visualize everything. And that just made me go hard to make everything happen. So manifest everything, add some prayer, watch how your life changes.
Twan, I love that, bro. I freaking love that. Okay. This is Chris. I'm gonna jump into Michael Jordan today. Here we go. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and learning through those is why I succeed.
That was dope.
Hey, you guys, it's Liv. My quote of the day is, "Life changes very quickly in a very positive way, if you let it," by Lindsey Vonn. And this quote, every day something happens. I myself have had to deal with things lately, but you just got to take it for what it is. And hopefully it can be a learning experience and just help you grow and become a much better person as you age.
All right. So with that said, we like to do a lot of analysis here, and let's start off with some futures, huh?
S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones where all the old money stashed at. Bet you ain't no square on Cash App. Stock, name an asset that could match that.
Yo, I love that song. It makes me happy literally every single time. Okay, so for today, I actually posted all of my futures charts because I think that it helps that we all have something to look at together. So I'm just going to go down that list and we'll take a look at where we are. So moving into the NASDAQ futures, I think that it's been really interesting watching the storyline and watching this recovery and watching the interplay off of the 50 moving average. So what do we have? Well, we held inside of a trend line. We invalidated it. We broke that trend and we came back and we're now inside of it. Not only that, but we've bounced off and used the 50 moving average as a support, which I like to see. With that said, we have a previous resistance that we've had some trouble with before in recent history and then broken over. And I'm looking at us right now approaching that and still getting rejected from it. So what does this mean? Well, I'm seeing yet again another consolidation pattern. It could be a little bit of a high base. We have yet to see. There really hasn't been time for this to develop yet. And we're kind of all over inside of this section, right? So I'm really just waiting to see an established trend. I would love to see us break into that supply zone and turn that into a demand zone, I guess, and turn that resistance into a new support. That would be the bullish thesis here. If we can continue to consolidate a little bit sideways and sort of trend in, bouncing off of that 50 moving average and that resistance, that would be the sort of pattern that I expect to see developing over the next few days. But so far, I haven't been broken one way or the other to determine whether we're really fully bullish or bearish yet. It was nice to see that recovery at least back into the expanding sort of wedge shape that we have going on here. But with that said, I'm still not really sure. So my activation levels are, let's see here. Sorry, I'm in a bunch of different apps. Looking at, so I mean, I'd love to see a break over 13.2, 13,300 really. Let's just say that. And a hold in that direction, I could start to become a lot more bullish. And underneath where we see the bottom of this trend line here, at least around 12,800. I would a break under that would definitely be the bearish turn for me. Overall, though, I'm not expecting any large moves one way or the other. I'm looking and waiting to see what happens, right? I'm just not sure, and I haven't been given enough information to determine yet. If we continue on looking at the Russell, so we've been trading inside of this range. And what is the Russell and why do I care? Well, the Russell index represents a lot of our smaller cap stocks that we talk about all the time. It's leveraged a little bit towards health and pharmaceuticals, right? Small cap pharmaceuticals, which so many of us like to play. I mean, I'm not one of them, but so many people like to play them. And I hear you guys. I understand why. There's been some resiliency if you look at the way the market has been going. And what I'm seeing right now is just a pattern of, trading sideways a little bit. We've been trading between this 2,200 and 2,300 range for the past few weeks now. And I'm looking to see us break that. A break of support or resistance one way or the other to invalidate that. But currently, I mean, it's a nice, easy range trade. When we get to the bottom of the range, you can expect some upward movement. And when we get to the top, you can expect a pullback. And so whichever way this decides to go as well, I've actually been enjoying looking at this chart and watching it develop. Now, if we continue to trade sideways for too much longer, we will invalidate our entire kind of rising channel, ascending channel formation, which I wouldn't like to see happen. But overall, I think that this range trading for the Russell is nice. And yeah, I've been enjoying what's going on with small caps. Continuing to move over, if we look at the S&P 500 futures /ES. So once again, I'm seeing sort of a similar thing here where we're having this consolidation pattern, and it's called a high base, where we're bouncing up against these highs, and consistently staying there. Now, so for the past, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, definitely for the past 3 days, we're breaking that trend sort of, and moving more of a sideways. I can see lower lows, right? I'm seeing lower lows as well as lower highs in some of these candles. But with that said, I'd love to see us hold over the top, hold the support region, hold the supply zone. Hold the support region, hold the demand zone, and continue to uptrend and approach our resistance, our all-time high of 3959, right? And we're sitting somewhere in between that right now. Currently, though, I'd say we are looking a little bit downtrendish as we're seeing lower highs and lower lows at the same time. And so the question is, are we going to actually like confirm this trend? Are we going to confirm the sideways trend? Are we going to continue consolidating and getting tighter and tighter ranges? What direction is our consolidation going to be? Is it going to be a high base where I'm looking at a high that continues to stay? Because all of these have different percentages that I will expect them to break up, to be honest, or break down. And currently, once again, we're really just building in trends. I mean, we're building in a confirmation and building in something that we can look for. Continuing on, if we look at crude oil futures, so looking at that, there's been this storyline here, and I've talked a lot about crude oil. I've been really excited about where we are at some levels with all of our oil companies, but I've also been talking about XLE a lot. And I think that storyline has yet to be developed entirely, where yes, crude oil went crazy. We've had some really, really good upward movement for the past month. However, I want to see the rest of the energy sector also catch up with that. And so, at least for me right now, we definitely might be reset up for another entry into some trades. But today's storyline, I'm going to talk a little bit more about industrials because that also has my interest. But is anybody else looking at futures or have a take?
Hey, what's up, Elaine? How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Santino. Hey, man. We're all right. How are you?
All right, all right. How you doing, guys? Vanessa, everybody else on here, Liv, Christopher.
What's
How
going
you
on?
doing?
All
We're
right.
pretty
Much.
good, Santino. What are your thoughts on futures today?
Hey.
Well, what I'm looking at is, I thought yesterday was a little bit of a fake out. What I like to call a dead man bounce. You know, I think they, you know, the overall market, you know, the controllers of it like to reel us into those types of moves. That was a pretty big leap yesterday. But what I did notice is the Dow and the S&P is pretty much sitting in supply or resistance. And because the Nasdaq took a little bit more of a beating over the past couple days or couple weeks than the S&P and the Dow, it still has a way to go before it gets to resistance because it was actually coming up out of a support level. It wasn't a support level that I would trade because it was a little too high on the curve, which means to me that it's too high, it's too near its high for me to jump in and had, you know, made a play on the triple Qs or whatever at that point. But I'm seeing what I think I could be seeing in the next couple days is the S&P pretty much pull back and the Dow pull back and the Nasdaq will be up for a spell or two. And I'm a little leery on it, like Elaine said. I'm not particularly bullish on it. I'm a little bearish on it. I would like to see the S&P around the 355 area before I make any plays on anything right now. I'm just pretty much sitting on my hands at this point. And yeah, that's pretty much what I see there. I think by the end of today we'll probably see a bit more red because, you know, both of those indexes are sitting in resistance. And that's pretty much how I'm playing it. I'm definitely not bullish on it. Elaine mentioned something about seeing a little bit of a breakout above the high. That's what I would like to see before I become bullish on it. And yeah, man, I'm expecting more of a pullback.
I 100% agree with Santino, and that was pretty much the reason of the title this morning. I know it did kind of, we started off on, the wrong foot, but it's definitely Chop City. I'm definitely a little bit concerned, and I'm looking more towards the commodities. But to be perfectly honest, because I'm still, and this whole gold thing really keeps, it's so confusing with gold, because it literally counteracts the rest of the commodities, or it literally acts on its own as compared to everything else. I am watching the VIX, and that's slowly like creeping back to a level that like I said, I'm leading towards a bearish market. But I'll wait until we jump into the indexes to dive in some more.
Yeah, because I pretty much think the market would need some sort of catalyst right now to go above those levels. Its recent highs, the S&P, the Dow, and the Nasdaq as well. And the way I'm figuring it is, all the big companies already reported earnings, so we won't get a catalyst right now from them. So it's more your smaller cap or mid cap companies that are reporting, that are left to report. I mean, if we could get some major economic news, maybe something in reference to stimulus or something like that, actually the bill actually being signed and that going into effect. I don't know. I don't know if it has already. But I think we need some sort of a catalyst to push past those highs. And if we just keep beating on that level, it's going to come down. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about news in a couple minutes because I mean, we were so excited to talk about stimulus yesterday, and after I actually went in and started looking at how the senators feel, even specifically Democratic senators, I don't even know. March 14th, they got 12 days. I feel like that Mario Judah guy yelling at Playboy Cardi, like, you have 12 days to release the stimulus, or I will release it for you. But with that said, right, I mean, it's just we keep continually kind of hearing about this. We have the jobs report coming out on Friday, and I saw this, well, now that I'm just talking about the news, I saw this report talking about China looking at the economic divergence between our actual economy and the stock market and talking the same thing about the UK. And it's like we are kind of becoming more and more disconnected. And even our reports that we used to kind of be a gauge on overall economic health are coming out and giving us really mixed responses when we look at housing, when we look at consumer cyclical stuff, and just compared to how the charts are looking crazy. Anyways, let's get on to our next segment, which is, the one that we all want to talk about.
All right, it's time for trash trade. So you know how this goes. We've been talking about sitting on your hands for a little while. But let's just say you didn't, and maybe you jumped into something or averaged up or averaged down, just depending on how the market was looking, and you made a decision and didn't work out so well. Now is the time for you to raise your hands, hop on stage. Let's talk about it briefly. It is time for trash trades. I'm actually, do I have one? I think I did. Okay, I actually did. So I reduced my shares in KMPH. Which I'm huge on Chem Farm under 10. Um, but I brought my average up, and then what I ended up doing was selling 30% of my position, just because I was up 20%. And I normally don't play for 20%. You guys know I'm a swing trader. I'm looking for like a minimum of like 60 to 70. Um, and so anyway, I reduced my position in shares and then took a position, options position out. And I really wasn't paying attention to my bid at all. And so immediately after I processed the trade, I was down like 13% on the trade. Fortunately, I am shaking back because I did buy it under 10, but I literally just, biggest lesson here is just stop freaking rushing and just pay attention to what I'm doing. And if I don't have the time to do it, then just don't do it.
I actually have one, and I keep saying that I don't, but I keep finding ones that well, reasons why trades that I took are kind of trash. So I remember back, God, it feels like a whole lifetime ago, 2 weeks ago, when we were really looking at medical marijuana stocks and really enjoying that. And I was big on using ETFs to gain exposure to that without having to worry about any individual company. I laughed at you sundial people. I and took a position in PodX, and by the next day it was up 100%. It was kind of one of those ridiculous trades. I did not expect it to go that well. So of course I trimmed some off the top, as you will. But I kind of was looking for more of a directional trade on that, or sorry, a momentum. I expected to see a continuing of that pattern. And what happened with the whole marijuana sector? Well, we all know what happened. I did buy some really far out calls. It's at the end of the year, so I figured I'd just hold on to it. It's not really the sort of trading that I normally do. Personally, my thesis is bullish on it regardless of the intraday or, short-term price movement. However, it's just not my favorite trade. I feel like when you have something that goes just unexpectedly great like that, I feel like I should have trimmed more off the top. A lot off the top. That was absolutely the percentage profit gain. I would have been happy just taking 100% in a day. That's not normal for an ETF. And now I sit at negative 67, and I have to look at this red mark every single day when I open up my broker because the market turned a different direction. So I would have liked to have taken a little bit more off the top and waited for a better point to reentry, as opposed to I'm pretty sure at this point this trade is probably breaking even in terms of profitability. And that's still off of something that once again had an insanely great run. So it's my trash trade for the day. Are you guys all out of trash trades? Is it just me?
Yeah, I got none.
You were off yesterday, bro. But yeah, I've been getting better every day, and that's why my trash trades have been like super limited.
To be fair, I had my fair share of trash trades, so for once, I'm kind of happy.
It's cool. I'm just gonna help you guys start lying so that we can fill this segment up. Because I know sometimes people hit me in my inbox and just don't really want to talk about it. They're like, once my ego recovers, I'll definitely let you know about the trash trade that I took. But
I
that's
didn't
cool.
take a trash trade, but I can talk about like a flop call out that I dropped. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. So
We
I
got time for
literally,
one more, and then let's talk about the news, man.
did anybody else have J&J going to 164?
No, because we sell the news and the hype was dead.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I definitely had to go on to 164. Just, uh, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't sold that it was done. And my confirmation was not necessarily confirmed. I was literally just looking at RSI and MACD and decided to stay in longer than I needed to. And yeah, I mean, it's a long term hold for me. It's not really a trade, but oh my gosh, I was so ready to get out.
J&J
And
is a
I can't.
long-term hold for you.
It's like one of the things that I'm considering, kind of like ETF, just
No, it's
something I
cool,
can
bro.
just sit some cash.
They have good didividends, so you could
I'm
cash out of
cracking
those
up.
dividends.
Oh, Lane, you're such a.
What? All right, you guys, let's do a refresh and talk about some other sector ETFs than the news.
Welcome to the number one pre-market show on Clubhouse, presented by Stockhouse University. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. This is a conversation among friends that love stocks and want to improve our profitability by coming here every day and talking about the market, relevant news, and how we're going to use that information to profit. We think education should be accessible and affordable to everyone, so we have a completely free Discord that has tons of resources and over 1,600 amazing members at all different skill levels that are all talking about the market and trying to grow as well. We also have free classes on Sundays. We would love it if you would join the community and contribute, because together we are so much more powerful than we are individually. Invite your friends, invite your family. Let's all create opportunities for generational wealth.
All right, let's talk about SPY. I mean, that's really what we all came here to talk about. Let's quit playing around and get straight to it. Elaine, you made us wait. Let's just talk about SPY. Okay, so I put SPY in our Instagram kind of charts, and here's what I'm seeing and here's what I'm looking at. So a lot of the same levels. I mean, I kind of posted this bullish thesis about what I would like to see SPY do, and how I would enter a trade into it. And lo and behold, here we sit. So hold on. Sorry, I'm jumping through charts. Okay. So yesterday we closed around 390, if I'm correct. And here we sit at 389.18. So a little bit of a pullback from our close to the open of today. From a technical perspective, this really doesn't invalidate or mean too much to me. I'm okay with it trading inside of this range, and still could be bullish, like short weekly bullish, at a 385 all the way down to a 378 retracement, as we've seen happen twice already in the past week and a half. But with that said, we definitely are still trading overall. If we kind of start to connect lines and look at it, I mean, you could draw a downward trend line, right? We are seeing increased levels of volatility, and I'm also seeing a lot of spikes in volume on the down days, showing that the selling pressure is there. And every time we turn around and look for, I mean, even if we think about market sentiment and how people are feeling, people are skittish. People are ready to hop onto, inverse ETFs and stuff like that. So I think we are really still at a fairly decisive moment in terms of wondering what the direction is and how to determine what's going on. But for these reasons are why I use activation levels and I don't try to guess, right? Okay, yeah, if we drop below 385, I'm looking for that 378 pullback at this point, right? That has happened consistently. If we hold above 389, I'm looking for 392 and then 394, 395, moving towards our all-time high at 395.76, right? And it's just that simple. I've been enjoying the interaction between the 50-day moving average, and SPY in general, because I think that, I mean, part of the storyline of COVID recently has just been the interaction of the 50-day moving average as a support or resistance. And I like seeing us hold over that. I mean, that at least gives me some confidence that we might have the ability to pull out and have a little bit more of a bullish trend, in the short term. With that said, I mean, we're very, very close to all-time highs. And so just like Santino was saying earlier, and just like so many people will say, I mean, this is not the place where you technically look to hop into a trade, right? At this point, I want to see how it's going to interact with that high, whether we're going to get a larger pullback or whether we're going to break through that and continue to uptrend. We're not seeing the momentum moving in that direction currently, as opposed to a breakout. And even for a consolidation pattern, I mean, this is chop city, right? You look to the left of the chart, where's your support? Where's your resistance? Well, it's kind of everywhere. I drew these Fibonacci retracements because I find that those levels tend to correlate a lot more with what I'm thinking of in terms of upward direction and in terms of just holding on to levels that I found useful as well. And so a lot of times in technical analysis, you'll have your Fibonacci retracements or extensions correlate with support and resistance line that you drew. And it's just a double confirmation to say, yep, the same way I thought 385. I mean, so many times we have other technical people come on stage and give the same numbers or say that they're looking at extremely similar ranges. And that's the great part about technical analysis, where you get multiple confirmations on levels. Yeah, so for me, I still haven't really figured out where we're going to go on this one either, but I have my activation levels and I'm ready to play that plan entirely. I mean, if we pull under 378, God, I can't wait to throw puts at this thing like nobody's business. But currently, I'm actually really into the price movement that we're seeing on SPY. I wish that we had closed yesterday's candle a little bit higher over the two previous red days. That would have been really nice for me, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. And I'm okay with that as well. Anybody else looking at SPY have any idea of what's going on here? Want to make sense of it with me?
Probably just regurgitating what you're saying, so I'm not really gonna add too much. For me, I'm gonna state my levels. We're at 389 today. The last candle that closed was a little nasty to look at because people are drawing graphs saying, look at the channel, it's going to fall off a cliff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. With me, I'm just looking at, I have a call still, but I have no problem buying puts and selling my call. If I do have to buy a put, my entry would be at 384, and then anything down, I would just ride that down. My exit, of course, for me in this situation, I would let it free fall and see where I would go with a trailing stop of about 10%. I'm a little more riskier. if it keeps going up in the call, I would just add average up as I go. I'm looking for it to hopefully today just break 390 and just stay anything above that. Hopefully it can at least touch 392. And if it does, from there on, we just sit back, relax, and let the thing do its thing. Personally, though, I feel like it's being propped up at 390. I feel as though there is a force doing the most to not let it fall under that. I've been looking at it. Maybe algos. I don't know.
I almost feel the opposite. I feel like naturally the market wants to pull back just because of, the invisible hand, just how economics are supposed to correct themselves. And it's only pure exuberance and just a bunch of retail traders and people who are just excited to buy the dip that are keeping it up at these levels. And that's cool. Let's dip buy our way straight to all-time highs again. But it really is interesting. You can feel the pull between these two opposing ideologies, especially when we look at SPY and even in the rotations going in the sectors based on what's going on in SPY as well. It's just like people, I mean, I've been talking about energy, but the industrial sector is booming. It's just pure booming. And we talk about airlines and but I want to talk about Caterpillar today. I want to talk about Honeywell. Like that's the craziest thing of this whole shit, like that we not missed, but the rotation is still strong. Yet, tech also had a great day today. Great day yesterday. And I just find that to be conflicting in terms of where we're supposed to be at in our economic cycle, right? For anybody who like kind of pays attention, like financials weren't necessarily supposed to be the cyclical trade of the moment, and look at financials continuing to be amazing, and especially when we think about these bond yields. So yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get on a
No, it's
rant
okay.
there.
I love caterpillars too.
He said, I love caterpillars too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's kind of move on down real quick and talk about some of the other sector ETFs. Hold on here. Okay. So right after that, let's look at tech, right? That's the storyline. That's what everybody wants to talk about. Let's look at it. So looking at XLK, I'm seeing us having we fell down beneath our trend line. We were moving in an upwards ascending channel. We fell down, had some interaction with the 50-day moving average, bounced back up, and here we sit at the bottom of this channel. Now, to be honest, we are at a great place. If tech's going to do the bull run, if tech's going to continue to have momentum, I think that looking at invalidations of support make me sort of lower my percentage chance that I expect something to continue to hold old trends. And I would definitely wait for more of a confirmation of an establishment of this trend. I posted this in the Instagram post too, right? So you see this channel. I now need to see this channel hold over the next week, to be honest, for me to be really confident in assuming that that's going to continue to be our trend. The thing with technicals is that you can redraw every single day. You're just looking for something that makes these random assortment of dots and numbers on a page actually correlate to something, right? And so we've found this upward correlation. We've found this range that they've been trading at. But once I see a support like that invalidated, I now have to recalibrate and say, are we going to continue to hold the old trend? Is this enough? Am I seeing? And so what am I seeing? Well, I'm seeing that once again, the volume on our red days was a lot more than the volume on our green days. I do feel the selling pressure in the market. And if you look at how violently we pull back when we do, I think that that's really important, right? After we have these red days, we're usually gapping down. And that means a lot to me. But with that said, we are back inside of an ascending channel that I've drawn that's been held since last year's November. And I do expect this trend to continue if we go back into bullish mode. And I also, in some ways, expect that tech will be one of the underpinnings if we really do start to push all-time highs again. I'm just not so sure that it's going to be on the backs of industrials, energy, and financials, right? I think tech was a huge part of our large bull momentum. And so we would look to this to see if we're going to be establishing that new trend. Continuing on, XLF, our financial sector, and financials have been doing fairly decent, right? There's been a run. And so what do I expect when we're running? We're pushing up against all-time highs. I expect a consolidation. That's what happens, right? And so we've had two fairly decent red days in the past 2 days after a fairly decent uptrend. We've broken that trend line that I've drawn, and here we are stepping right back into it. Just showing that the bullish momentum on financials has not stopped yet. Am I excited to hop into positions in terms of a sector ETF when it's sitting right here at the highs and I don't know what's going to happen for the day? No. But if you look at what JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, I mean, I actually have a long thesis about why I think Square is going to take over everything, right? Or PayPal. A lot of these companies continue to give us good catalysts, good reasons. Fundamentals are lining up, and they're showing us that they're profitable, regardless of whether it's COVID, regardless of whether or not Bitcoin starts to take on more momentum. If it falls back, we're not seeing those stocks relate that same fallback, and I'm enjoying that. So financials has been one of the better trades to be taking, and continues to look as though they are. If we look at our industrial sector, what I'm seeing here is a breakout. Right. And the question is, are we going to continue this breakout? Because we've been waiting. Industrials trades inside of a range. And as this range we've been sitting at the top. We've had a little bit of a 1-2 double top in the past, for this year, right? We've bounced up against that, took a rejection, bounced off a support. And here we sit at a breakout level, and I'm waiting to see if we're going to continue to break upwards. Now, if we look at what's going on inside of this sector, I mean, let's take a look at, we don't have a ton of time. I challenge you guys to let's see here. What charts do I like the most? Look at a GE inside of our industrial sector. I mean, look at the storyline behind a chart like that. Just something that's just trending up, looking beautiful. Let's see here. If you look at Deere and Company, same thing. I mean, this looks even better than the momentum that we saw in the oil industry, right? So that's ticker DE. If we look at, I mean, even 3M, right? We're seeing things that are coming back into a breakout territory. So I don't think that we've missed this in breakout at all. I think that this is just happening. And I'm really interested in seeing how the storyline continues as industrials are part of the recovery play. They're also part of the play that this has been brewing for a while. Right. And I'm excited to see how they also add the green energy concept. I've been really excited to follow these stories about what's going on with Caterpillar and their technology. So really into XLI and this breakout. If we look at XLY, our consumer discretionary sector, here we sit underneath the 50-day moving average, right next to a support line. And I just want to see if we're going to hold that. I'm not particularly excited about consumer and discretionary, to be honest. I know that other people are. We've made the trades. We're talking about Nike. We're talking about Walmart. We're talking about Target, Costco. But they're just not my favorite trades personally. I know some other people might have some stronger opinions about that, and that's fine. We do have room to run. We are sitting in the middle of the chart. If we do have upward momentum, which the overall trend is indeed upward, that will be great. And we also kind of have a double bottom. So the question is, are we going to continue to trend upward, or are we going to do the consolidation thing? If we are going to trade in a range, once again, we do have 5 points of movement to go. And a lot of the companies inside of this are beat down or at great places in the chart. But yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. So anybody else looking at any sectors, have anything on it, or you want to go straight into the news?
I mean, I'm literally right here with you on the financial sector, especially after that Square news, which I'm definitely going to drop here in just a second. But I'm looking at the entire thing: XLF, ARKF, all of the fintech, like everything is flying on this news right now. I'm super excited about it. I'm actually going to probably jump into a trade today.
Yes, Chris. Trade every single day unless you don't have a good reason to, and then don't, but trade. All right. Well, with that said, let's kind of break out and go to our next, I don't know, let's see here. You know what happened, you guys? I got a copyright strike on YouTube, so I had to change all the music. And so let's see here. Okay, so in terms of news, I think for me, just continuing on, my big news is the stimulus. My big news that I'm looking at in terms of just, and I've been saying that stimulus is priced in, and I sort of feel like that, although so many other investors don't. And that's the definition of market sentiment. So if people feel like stimulus isn't priced in, if they feel like they're going to be excited if we on March 14th wake up and stimulus passed, then I'm okay with that, because the market reflects more sentiment than reality a lot of times. But just hearing that there are Democratic senators who have problems with it, specifically dealing with minimum wage, and it's just it hurts my heart and soul that this is what we're arguing about, that this is what my tax dollars are going to pay for, people to argue about not paying people higher for minimum wage, especially when we're seeing what's going on with, our essential workers. I think another situation that's kind of brewing, or like a storyline that I'm following a lot, is distribution of vaccines. And how that implementation is going throughout different regions and hospitals, as we've seen many times where like storage has been an issue, where we're seeing a discrepancy between the ethnicities that are having more access. I couldn't believe that the Black population has like 8%. We're the lowest percentage group of people who have been vaccinated. And what industries are majority Black, right? Or what jobs? But so a lot of the essential work falls in that category, and it's not a lot of Harvard professors, and that just is what it is. And 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 I think that that's eventually, if I think it's already having an actual economic impact that just gets ignored because none of the reports really split by, you know, socioeconomical rank. It's just like, oh, everything's looking good, everybody's looking up. Well, yeah, over a certain percentage income, for sure, things are looking up. If you have the money, you didn't have to go outside, right? I got all of my groceries delivered. But people that did, I just don't see that recovery, and these little $1,400 checks. I mean, people are behind on rent. So I'm kind of wondering about that in terms of our vaccination and also with regards to stimulus. Um, I don't know. Who else has some news? What are you guys looking at today?
All right, so I got a couple of things that I'm looking at. First things first, if you guys aren't in the Discord, I'm definitely adding some new stuff there. Of course, the tweets are now starting to get off. I'm actually thinking about jumping into some NFT stuff as far as what we're doing with the Discord. We're growing every day. So if you're not in the Discord, make sure you're joining the Discord. But if you guys didn't see that news that just dropped, Fubo actually just got they're launching an online sportsbook platform, and it is on the moon in addition with everything else that runs sympathy with like sports betting. So I'm looking at DraftKings, which is still up. Um, I'm also looking at the financial sector entirely, and how it's relating to the Square news in addition to just the gamble. The only thing that I'm actually watching and it's not up, and I'm kind of looking as an inverse with the DraftKings news yesterday and the Fubo news today. Caesar's down, and so I see them taking up market share in that space. But then let's jump into the Square news because that one is super huge. They actually have jumped into banking, and the financial sector is going absolutely berserk off of that. Just like you said, you see Square, PayPal jumping into that space. So I'm looking at both of those. They're both up. I'm all around financials and fintech today, and I'm just watching it heavy.
Yo, I'm holding Fubo. That's great to hear. Although I feel like if we want to talk about Caesar, just look to the left. I mean, look to the left on MGM, look to the left on Penn. I mean, these charts are going as up as I would like to see a chart go. They could easily pull back, and I would still be extremely bullish just off of the momentum that we've had. I think all of these are up more than 20% in the past month, and that's kind of crazy as a sector. So it's been really bullish. I'm with you though. I'm very excited to hear more about Fubo unveiling their platform, if that's what's going on. And earnings has been great. The rise of their guidance was a really good sign, and of course they were going to hit that, right? Who raises their guidance and then misses it when they were already at the level that they needed to be? So that's an enjoyable thing. One other thing is, I mean, and I said it earlier, but it really is crazy. How is this? I mean, I'm just reading this Bloomberg article talking about a banking regulator saying that they're worried about European and U.S. Bubbles as the market rallies are heading in the opposite direction of underlying economy. Also concerned about the price rises of property in China, which could have an effect on everybody's favorite EV company, NIO. But don't mind me. I've said this was the problem with their entire strategy in the first place. Like, where are you going to find space for battery swaps in any of our major cities in the U.S.? But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. With that said, who else has any news? And if not, we'll kind of keep on moving.
I did have one more thing I want to drop unless anybody else wants to get in there. All right. So I was looking at the Beyond, and I called the Beyond News out a couple of days ago where they did a partnership for the next 3 to 5 years with Yum, ticker YUM. This morning, and if you take a look at the sympathy to Yum, which is now Beyond, Yum brands to acquire Cavantum's leading artificial intelligence-based consumer insights and marketing performance analytics business. And so now they're jumping into the data space to really collect and grow their business, and it's taken off. If we're looking at YUM and BYND, they're both like going to the moon right now.
Yeah. I wonder how Tattooed Chef is gonna run, and
I
if
need to look
they're
at that.
gonna, yeah, if they're gonna be like convergent or divergent with that. I feel like that's the low price entry for all of these things, just to hit on Tattooed Chef. When Beyond Meat has some good news, it's like I just go straight to Tattooed Chef and give it a check out. Although that McDonald's thing might have given them complete domination of the sector for now. Um, all right. Well, with that said, I think it's time to talk about our watch list for the day. This is crazy. We're mad on
Did we
time.
talk Apple yet? Because Apple's hit your levels and took the hell off, like you said. You said if it goes 126 overnight, we're waking up on the moon. And oh my God,
Do you feel like
I
this is
think,
on the moon?
not really on the moon, but it's definitely going to print for me at 9:30 because I'm holding Apple contracts. So I'll take it.
well, Apple had some news. I guess like they have rumors of their iPhone 13 pre-order sales that they're going to hit 100 million. So that's also why I think it's running a little bit.
I mean,
Yeah, also with the stores opening as well. All the stores open yesterday, and the iPhone 13 is supposed to give you 1 terabyte of storage. So I think that's those two things probably helped it out. My bad, Elaine.
no, you're fine. Only Apple can get us happy about something that we could have gotten on an Android phone years ago. You're just like, thank God they're finally keeping up with their competition for once. Because Jesus Christ, we're all screwed with this no lack of expandable storage thing. Yeah, I saw that too. I'm really excited about the reopening of their stores, and I just wonder how that's gonna. I'm still kind of not sure where we're at in terms of our recovery. It's just crazy living in Los Angeles where you still can't eat inside. And so I keep hearing these stories about how the rest of the country is open. Not that many people live in Los Angeles who are on this app, and like when I talk to y'all, I feel like, God, why am I not outside more? Why am I not doing things? Oh, right, there's a pandemic, and I I'm just wondering at what level that's going to take effect, right? I feel like we're hearing some of the European countries going back into lockdown measures, but at the same time, we're hearing that the vaccination levels are high enough that we might actually really hit herd immunity. Um, so I'm not really sure where to go with that. If anybody's like a doctor or has deeper knowledge, I'm very open to everybody's perspective. It's just I feel like there's conflicting news on both sides whenever we talk about recovery stocks, based off of the COVID situation.
Agreed. And I definitely want to talk about that some more this afternoon. Yeah, that's definitely one of the topics. I'm writing that down. All right, y'all. So we got 10 minutes left. It is watch list time. Y'all know how this goes. If you're watching anything that correlates to news, or maybe something that we talked about today, raise your hands. Let's talk about it. Let's see what you guys have on the watch list. Vanessa, you want to kick us off?
I'm watching Ford today. Just like it's an EV play. There's some news that came out that Volvo's going to go electric by 2030. So Ford is kind of responding to that news. I have a long call on it. So, but if I didn't, I guess I'd be looking for entry somewhere under 12. And I'm long on it. So it's a long call for me. So my call's out until June. Y'all can do what you want with that.
All
Come
right, is my go?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
All right, I got Square, entry 250.81, price target 283, stop loss 245.
I like that. I was actually going square 250 to 265 by I was gonna say Wednesday next week is the final day that I'm willing to hold on to it on some news like that. And unless they get some more news, and then I'll reconsider taking a long position. But 1 week swing on Square, I'm looking at 265 for an exit.
Yeah, I like that as well. Also, y'all check out TSM. I know I only get one, but keep your eye on TSM.
What's the levels for it, man? What are you looking for?
I
Don't.
like. I got you. I ain't want to take up too much time. TSM, I like 130, 185. Price target 142. I'll put my stop. My exit will be 128. And I'll drop these in the Discord as well.
Cool. I'm on Square. Live.
Yeah, I'm looking at NNVC. They are a drug company that just got pre-approved for cell structure studies. That was interesting to me. I'm looking at them maybe long term. And then JCS, which is a company that just merged with Pineapple Energy LLC, but they are a communication systems. And just looking at that long, I'm not going to be trading today, other than watching Apple and Fubo and laughing. But
What was
otherwise, I'm
that?
sitting.
What was that first ticker? Was it NNGC?
NNVC. So I'll put
VC.
it
All
in,
right,
in
cool.
the
Thanks.
Discord. Yes. No problem.
Elaine.
Yeah, so kind of going along with this industrials theme, I'm actually looking at waste management. And I want to see if how they interact with their 50 moving average. So I'd love to see anything around the 108 level, and looking towards 120, just depending on what we're going to be looking at in terms of our cyclical type trades. On the just continuing side, I haven't sold anything on Fubo. I'm still continuing to be bullish. I bought in, I think around, I want to say like 30, 35. Jesus Christ. It's in the middle of that downtrend. And I'm still looking to, I want to see them approach 50. I'm expecting a retracement back to all-time highs, to be honest. So I'm still sitting in this trade, and I'm pretty far out, so I'm waiting for that. And then last but not least, or I'll let somebody else go, and then we can come back to me. I have a couple more. Hey, David, good morning, man. Welcome to the stage.
Hey, what's going on? So I got a good one for you here, Elaine. I'm going long term on VJet, 3D printing company. They're pretty good. They got a lot of good stuff going on. This is not a short term play. I mean, it could be a decent short term play. They kind of have had some runs, but I'm thinking, 3 years this could be over $100 to $300 potentially, depending on where they go in the market. And if they're already a pretty good company, and if they can really seal the deal with some of their newer products, I think they'll be huge long term.
I like that. Marcus, good morning. Welcome to the stage, man.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Elaine. I actually have one I've been in since January. Rocket RKT. I had it for a September call, but if you guys haven't looked, it's been like really running. And this morning, it's already up like 13% or something like that or more. So I'm looking at that for exit position today. If it continues its run up, probably like I just hopped off the chart. Probably like $30-something. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, probably looking at about $30 if it does hit that. But Rocket is already pre-market 14%. I'm also looking at SOS. SOS, if you're taking a look at SOS, this morning also has had a nice little. So far, it's up pre-market 19%. It's at 797 last time I checked. So those two are the ones I'm looking at. And if I do take a position with SOS, hopefully looking to get out. If I do get into that one, probably like $12.
Love that. And God, it's nice to see Rocket finally uptrending. I mean, it's not uptrending, but it's a breakout. And I want to see this breakout continue. This has been a company mortgage people talk about and say that it's a good company. They enjoy using the service.
So check this out. I was talking to my brother about this last night because I said, I can't understand why it took so long for this mortgage company to get a breakout. And he said, because he's in Detroit, they're, I guess, expanding to a whole different platform. So they're going to get into some like car type space. So it's going to be financing at a whole nother level, like cars. And I guess they're these multi-platform integration things was what they're looking at launching. So it's going to be more than just homes. And so I think people are going to get more bullish because they're going to expand their footprint, is what he was telling me, for someone who works in the area up there.
No, I can see that. I mean, this is like the definition of why you should wait for entries on trades, because there's not fundamentally this company should be worth more and is undervalued. But in terms of entering, like you could have entered right at the IPO. You could enter 2 days ago, and you would have gotten the same price basically, and you would still be sitting at the same price. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, the timing on this one is everything. I'm really excited. I'm gonna do some more DD and see if we can find out about those catalysts, man. I'm into it. I could be really bullish on Rocket in the long term. Fahim, good morning. Anything you're looking at for the day?
Hi, I posted in the Discord this Oscar Health IPO is coming this week, but it's from Jared Kushner's brother. So, would you invest in a Kushner startup?
Same thing like Amazon. Can't touch it, man. God dang it.
Why not Amazon? Just curious.
They don't promote people of color or women.
Got it.
Well, I shouldn't say that like it's a fact, but there are people coming forward saying that, and that bothers me. You know, I don't know, whatever. There's plenty of other charts to trade. If Amazon was the only thing holding up the market, I guess it'd be a different story, but it's not. And so that's how I feel about them.
Yeah, I'll ping you maybe in a different message board or something about Amazon and people of color, because I know quite a few minorities there that are at senior level positions. So just to add to your due diligence.
I'm into that. Maybe we'll talk about that after market too. All right, you guys. Welcome to the stage, Shivam and Kit. Do you guys have anything that you're looking at briefly?
Sure. Hey guys, good morning. Sorry I joined a bit late today. I'm looking at ERX and I'm going to add something to my ERX long term. It's basically a Direction daily energy bull market. And I have a feeling that energy is where we are going. It could be any form of energy, honestly. Right? It could be green energy, harvesting, renewed source of energy, whatever it is. And as one of my long-term plays, continuing from yesterday's conversation where I was talking about hedging, I am adding something to ERX just to make sure I have some more umbrella for a rainy day. I'm still sticking to that sentiment. Sorry, Alien, but I'm just trying to make sure I don't burn my fingers like I burned before when I was too bullish, right? So I'm just trying to make sure I'm putting some of my big gains into stocks, which are into commons, which I can hold on to for longer and can harvest a good amount of revenue for me in long term.
No, I like the thesis. Thanks, Shivam. Kit, anything you're looking at for the day?
Hey guys, I'm driving, so I don't know if it's too loud in the background, but I'm actually looking at EEM. That's my favorite ETF. Just trying to see where it emerges as a whole.
Hey, Kit, you're kind of breaking up.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm driving on the highway. That's why I kind of just popped in. But looking at EEM, and now you've actually, because I've seen so many commercials about Amazon and women of color and how, they help to promote. But then to hear this is kind of like, oh, okay, then maybe I need to do some more DD around that. But looking at my EEM play, I'm still in it until end of March. So just trying to see what that does and looking to consolidate. I feel like I have a lot of little stocks here and there where I can consolidate that into more meaningful plays without spreading myself so thin, but also not, only having a couple that, don't, serve me well. So that's a lot of what I'm going to be doing. Some maintenance and cleanup and then watching those.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We kind of went a little bit over time, but let's get some affirmations and get to our trading day. I am now, I have always been, and I will continue to be a profitable trader. I'm ready to trade today. I have a plan, and I will trade with that plan. Trading profitable is something I excel at. I believe in my ability to deal with market volatility. I will trade with the trend. I will not trade on emotion. Today's going to be a nice green day. I'm grateful and happy to be in the market and have this opportunity to create generational wealth for myself and the people around me. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you have a great trading day. We'll talk to you later.